So if anybody can do it, it has to be somebody from Florida. Who else? Like, let's be real. It's got to be a Florida man.
At what point are we going to build a time machine to go back to 1776 when, you know, we were dying from the common cold, but we at least knew how to overthrow a motherfucking government?
Wow. Okay, sometimes thoughts come to your mind. That doesn't mean you need to open your mouth and say them.
That, like this morning. Ellie put me in my place.
Is a safe
she
space.
said, "Don't lose your Jesus."
But this is
just
okay. Listen, it's a safe space. You can say that here.
Okay.
But taking your phone out and saying it like on air, like that's just wild to me. Like you're asking for it. You're asking for reprimands.
And so this is the first woman was Kelly Ann Russo. She's a 4th grade teacher at Pinecrest Academy, which is a public charter elementary school.
Where?
In Lafayette. I don't even know where that's at, Florida. The reason why they included her number, that's not our posting. We're sharing that is, I think that's the school's number because you have to report this, and our attorney general will not play this fiddle. He will not. No.
I honestly don't understand how people have not figured this out yet.
How are we worried about teachers losing their jobs, but we're not worried about teachers, some losing their minds? Like, this is crazy. This is not healthy talk. And honestly, you can't, when you're employed somewhere, everybody has a social media policy.
Yes.
Everybody does. Teachers have it. People have it in the government. They have it in the military. It's not that you don't have an opinion or that you have to like the person who's elected in office as president. It's just, it's that your social media then becomes a reflection of your job that you have. And unless you're elected to something that's highly political, and so you're always talking about current events all the time, like a state representative or a congressman, their social media should look like the news,
right?
Because they're constantly updating you on what they're voting on.
Or so, I mean, less like news, but more so updated on policy, right? And some of the things that, like their opinions, their political opinions on news. I think yes.
Even then, could you imagine a Republican in any office, Allie, like talking about that we've got to make another attempt on somebody missed. We got to make another attempt on the president's life. Like,
no,
that's below. Like,
I think that's why all of us were so mad at Comey.
Yes. Oh.
Right. And that was why all of us were so mad at Whitmer, because didn't Whitmer have the 8647 in her podcast when she was doing an interview?
Yep.
So we were all upset about that because there's a certain level of tact that you're supposed to have.
Ideally.
When you, right?
Yeah.
It's respect for life, but coming from the party that wants to kill children, I mean, I don't understand. I can understand why there's no love for life right there. So,
but everybody says, as a school board candidate, everybody says politics doesn't belong in the school board room. Well, that's actually where it belongs. Where it doesn't belong is in the classroom. But if your teachers feel this way, I mean, and I'm not saying all teachers, because actually the vast majority of people don't feel this way. They may not like him, but they don't feel this way about it. But this is alarming to me. I think it's like we're seeing, Allie, how long the education system has gone without having any kind of peel back of the veil.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If this is the rhetoric that people are feeling underneath it, think about all of our colleges where a lot of our great teachers graduate from. They're all extremely left-leaning and
very, very extremist in most ways.
Yeah. So we got a lot of work to do. I don't mean to harp on teachers because y'all are amazing, but like, could you not advocate for shooting our president? We would just really appreciate that.
Yeah, that's wild. Maybe we should do some studies on TDS, because I think that's an actual thing.
I think it is too. So does
real thing.
So does Caroline Levitt.
Oh.
She had this to say. Congratulations. I think somebody was saying we might be getting an interim, but this is before the birth of her baby. She had this to say about Trump derangement syndrome and how much the left has played into these assassination attempts. Take a look.
It's not just the media. It is the entire Democrat Party has made their pitch to voters across the country that Donald Trump poses an existential threat to democracy, that he is a fascist, and that they compare him to Hitler. I mean, these are despicable statements that the American people have been consuming for years. And so many mentally perturbed individuals are led to believe these words are truth and then are inspired to act on it. I have a whole host of examples that we can share with you after. It is pages and pages of major Democrat Party elected officials saying, such as Rep. Hakeem Jeffries just this month said, "We are in an era of maximum warfare everywhere all the time." Governor Josh Shapiro said heads need to roll within the administration. Senator Alex Padilla said people are, quote, dying because of fear and terror caused by the Trump administration. Senator Elizabeth Warren, President Trump is making the country look like a, quote, fascist state. Senator Adam Schiff saying President Trump using a dictator playbook. Senator Ed Markey calling President Trump a dictator, saying that this administration's actions are authoritarianism on steroids. Governor J.B. Pritzker, never before in my life have I called for mass protest disruptions. These Republicans cannot know a moment of peace. You have Rep. Presley saying, "We'll see you in the streets." Rep. Monica McIver, a Democrat representative on Capitol Hill, "We will not take this shit from Donald Trump. He thinks he's a dictator. We are at war." These are Democrat elected officials calling for war against the President of the United States and his supporters. I could go on and on, but again, when you have people in positions of power that are saying things like this every single day for years, you are inspiring violence by people who are already mentally ill. And that's what we've seen against this president for far too long.
He is 100% correct. They call you these things so that they are able to enact violence. If you're not allowed to yell fire in a crowded theater without being arrested for inciting chaos, why are elected representatives allowed to say this kind of rhetoric without reprimand? And they will shout from the rooftops, First Amendment.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But the First Amendment doesn't apply when you're shouting fire in a crowded theater.
Well, it doesn't apply when you're, I mean, do you remember throughout the early 2000s, we went through this whole hate speech thing? And I don't know, it was like, oh,
yes.
But it was like trying to control speech. But then you realized that, like, you know, especially online, sometimes what you put out there, if you're talking to somebody or messaging somebody and then they like do harm, it could come back on you, so to speak. It's like they kind of developed this chain of like, if this happens and we trace back to the fact that your words had a participation in it, then you could also be held liable. Like they changed the penal code to fit that. I don't know why we're not using it federally. I don't want to see a huge amount of policing. I don't see any policing really of speech, but we used to be able as people, Allie, to be able to, and we joke and say we're unfiltered and uncensored, but I'm not going to call for the,
this is a terroristic threat.
I'm not going to call for like,
it's a terroristic threat on a president. I don't understand why they are protected because they're in Congress.
Right. I don't understand it at all. And I don't,
where's the ethics committee?
Maybe
where's the expulsion resolution? Where's that? No one is going to call that forward.
And I think that, you know, the FBI, the DOJ, they should be knocking on some doors and letting people know, like, hey, you're elected to office. Maybe you don't put shells in the beach saying 8647 and then go on CNN and pretend you don't know what that means as the former head of the FBI. Like
what?
The actual, like
what? So you're not good at your job, huh?
Well, no, they just play dumb really well.
And then they hide behind the First Amendment, which it's like you using your rights against
as much as people
because if there's a regular person that says it, so if I were to say this right now online and call for some of the things that they're calling for someone else or even a sitting president, my house would be swatted in the middle of the night,
probably in the middle of our episode.
Yep.
Well, Allie, and part of what
they would comb through all of my social media, they would comb through all of my emails, they would take my phone for days and days and days and days and days.
But think back to our presidents that have been shot. Okay, Abraham Lincoln, there wasn't any kind of real record as far as video, that kind of thing. But you think about JFK and his assassination. And the idea that anybody during that time would have been promoting publicly. Now, we know that there's been a deep state there's been deep state players that seek to do harm in our country, but I'm talking about like mainstream media. You know,
Spin act.
And then yes, absolutely. And then you look at Reagan, which Reagan was actually shot not far from where this third assassination attempt happened for Donald Trump. And he got halfway down the street before his security really realized he was hit. You look at Brady, his cohort, who later went on to try to pass the Brady bill, trying to strengthen gun laws, I guess, even though they didn't agree on that. But nobody came out. No Democrats came out then and was like, well, we should have aimed higher. We could have gotten no. I mean, it was the whole nation kind of went,
yep.
Because there's at least respect for the seat. To sit here and hear time and time again that Donald Trump's the demise of democracy from the party that literally selected their presidential candidate. They did a bait and switch on all you Democrats, and not one of you found out that was actually unconstitutional. They swapped Biden for Harris as the head of the ticket. You never had a primary to decide that. That's not democratic. Like,
no, not at all. Not at all, but carry on.
Jeez,
it's fine.
Sometimes, sometimes you have to take your head out
of your rear end.
Cola.
Yep.
Not Coca-Cola, the other one. It's crazy. Anyway, not trying to stir you up too much today. Just want to make sure that you guys understand the rhetoric is not dialed down. After the third assassination attempt,
it still has
all we're hearing is more and more about do it again and aim better. And I'm going to tell you, throughout COVID, they told us there were body bags stacked up throughout the whole trans crap that they were trying to do. Look at all these body bags of trans.
I don't know anybody that died of fear.
The only body bags are from conservatives.
Yeah. No,
Charlie Kirk.
Yep.
We're the only ones.
Yep. And our president keeps coming out and saying we should work together. We should put aside our differences. Every single time he does a speech about this.
Yeah, I know.
And then he'll laugh about it, which, I mean, right on, sir.
Right on, sir. Keep your sense of humor, sir, because I don't know how you do it. His wife, our first lady, is pissed.
Yeah, they tried to shoot her husband. I mean,
and then joked about it on Jimmy Kimmel.
Listen, when I want to go scorched earth for people that are messing with my friends or people that I love and care about, I'm like, bro.
It's a different level of crazy, and I'm only a phone call away, sweetheart.
I'm just saying.
Just gonna say,
somebody, I need bail money.
I can't help with that. But I can show up and be like, what are we doing?
Totally kidding.
Okay. So
moving on.
The Strait of Hormuz, Trump had a really cool.
The Strait of America.
The Strait of America. Do we think that's what's going to happen?
I have no idea.
Comment below.
Yeah.
I would take a vacation, or no, I wouldn't. That's not even. I wouldn't
even.
Trump announces that he's going to begin this week, if not already, escorting ships out of the Strait of Hormuz. So there's a gridlock there. This was created by Iran. Again, Iran didn't naturally take ownership of the Strait of Hormuz. They took it by force during the 1979 Islamic Revolution. So part of what Trump is saying here is that he's going to have escorts go in and escort these other ships from other countries. So other countries are now, if it's pretty amazing, Allie, not only, I don't know if you saw this, but oil is down below $100 a barrel. We'll get into why you're not feeling it at the pump, because that's got nothing to do with Trump.
Nothing to do with Trump or what's going on in the Middle East.
No, it doesn't. But to see other countries kind of like, hey, can we get it? Can you help us? Because they're blocking so he's going to escort ships throughout the Strait of Hormuz. Thank you to our strong, wonderful Navy and men and women who serve over there. You're not feeling the relief at the pump. It's because of different organizations that band together to set pricing. We call it gouging everywhere else. I guess we don't do it when it comes to oil markets and everything.
Yeah. I mean, literally, they make the world go round. Like, I'm not even joking.
But this is like Jerome Too Late Powell, only in the oil industry.
Yes.
Like, just not.
It's the major oil companies that are setting market value.
Yeah.
That's what's happening. And it has absolutely nothing to do with availability of oil, because we have availability here in America. Yes. So I don't understand like a lot of people are kind of saying, well, we don't understand why this is not happening. Oh, Foundation Church. Okay, Twitter.
Well, but think about it. What we've done by engaging over there, and similar to what we did with the Panama Canal, we built the Panama Canal, gave it to Panama. Panama gave it to China, one of our adversaries. We're like, no, that's against the Monroe Doctrine. Then you look at Iran, the Middle East. That was not their strait to begin with. But when you think about how we help defend those nations in the Middle East, a lot of them are our allies. Why don't we get a say at what goes on during the Strait of Hormuz? Why do we let one of our largest adversaries continue to play FF games with us whenever they're really mad at us? They just close things down, or they make things difficult, knowing it's going to hit your pocket.
Because that's how they play. And again, you have to learn the game and play it better in order to kick their ass. Right. And I think President Trump is one of the most who's been successful at that. I mean, he understands the game better than I think anybody else does. And he has this weapon of negotiation at an expert level that I don't think many other people have either. Like, he's playing the president on hard.
Dude, like, all the gamers out there, you know what that means.
He's playing the president, the game of president on expert. Like, and everybody else is trying to like catch up to how he's playing it. Even like regular Americans, they're trying to figure out like, well, what does this even mean? I mean, we've had conversations like this in our Ubers or in our Lyfts, like in DC. We're like, hey, how are you? How did you vote? How do you feel about the gas? How do you feel?
Because 7 minutes. She had him flipped. He's voting red now. And it's not because like, it's like, you know, Republicans do no harm. It's because literally it's the way to by explaining it to people kitchen table style, they understand what's going on.
Yeah, they do. But this is what happened. He's like,
turn every Lyft driver.
Like, I'm definitely going to tune into you guys because I haven't heard it like this before on CNN. I said, stop watching that garbage. I don't teach you anything. And they're not going to tell you who to talk to. I'll give you Comey's number right now. We literally called Chuck Schumer. I had 500 people dial his phone number. I mean, do you really want to play with the moms? Like, you made us come down here, and now you piss us off because you passed the Farm Bill and didn't take the Save Our Bacon Act.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I don't know what is wrong with y'all, but knock it off.
Knock it off. Pop out. Okay, so, and that brings me to, I'm glad I didn't even have this queued up. But you guys, here we are Tuesday. So we're a day into the week or 2 days into the week already. They passed the Farm Bill. But one of the good things that was passed was an amendment. Luna's amendment and then Stubbe's amendment, Congressman Stubbe's amendment to not allow foreign adversaries to own farmland. But so some of your states may have already done this. I know Florida did, but we needed it nationally. And so the last conversation I had, he was like, let's hope they don't strip it in the Senate. And I thought, we have the Senate. Why would they think about that?
No, we don't.
The author of the amendment is saying, please, the Senate, don't strip this out of the bill. You guys need to call all of your senators. We're done with the House right now. All of your senators, you need to make sure that they keep Luna's amendments in. We want to see them strike the Save Our Bacon Act out of the bill. And we want them to continue with Stubbe's amendment, no foreign adversaries owning farmland in the United States. So you guys reach out to your U.S. senators. We're going to run this, I think, every day this week.
Every day, sure. Honestly, because, I mean, you have to. It's 202-221-3121, I believe it. 222-224-3121.
That's the switchboard.
That's the switchboard for the Senate. Please call them and let them know that you want to keep the amendments and strip out the Save Our Bacon Act from the Senate bill. Absolutely. Like, honestly, hound them. And I understand that we've been trying to do this with the Save America Act and it's really not largely working, but maybe it's time for JD Vance to come in and just literally be the head of the Senate.
And so this is another time. Yes. But when you guys voted in 2024 for Trump, and when you showed up in record numbers, and thank you Christians, and thank you faith community, thank you minorities, thank you women for showing up like that. But when you did that, wasn't it very clear to all the representatives, House and Senate? Wasn't it very clear what you wanted? Mm-hmm. Like, so part of what we're hearing too, and we're trying to guide this and work through our anger issues, is that people are upset that we're still having to barely squeeze things through. The House has been doing great stuff, but under Thune, the Senate has been just bottlenecked. But we don't want to lose the midterms over that, but we're frustrated.
Oh, but we might. Because there are a lot of people that are not politically affluent, that are one issue voters and will not go out to vote because their one thing has not happened.
And then how are you any different than the left?
That is what we are talking about. And that's what we talk about in our spaces all the time. I mean, you have spaces tonight with Mark Naughton, and I believe it's at Mark Naughton for Trump Tuesday.
Yeah.
So
guys, we can't sit it out in 2026. I don't know what your personal feelings are. If you're anything like us and you've been frustrated with your party, you've been frustrated with a few people here and there that you elect. We understand it. We're not done with it, but if we step outside of the game and we just forfeit, you remember what that was like under Biden? Do you remember what that was like? Do you remember how close we got? Can you imagine a Hillary or oh my God, a Gavin Newsom? Can you even imagine? Like, can you imagine having Trump in office still with 2 years of a minority in the Senate and House? They will do everything that we feel like our Republicans don't have the cojones to do. They will do. So as well as impeach Trump, I think, again,
I kind of want to move to like North Carolina to run against Thune. I really do. But I don't live there. And I need someone.
Is there nobody that will run against him in North Carolina?
No, because everyone is afraid of the amount of money that backs these politicians.
Right, but yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But obviously, through primaries of our special elections, money doesn't equal votes.
No, you're right.
So
they've proven that.
They have proven that, which is why I constantly keep getting calls about, hey, are you running for that seat? I don't know.
The jury's still out.
Yes.
Well, and here's the thing, Allie.
I have like 6 weeks to decide.
We need like the Elon Musks and the people at that level to really take this cause up, to be able to say, you know what, we'll support. Because when somebody with that kind of clout and that kind of money says, I'll support somebody in a primary who wants to run against so-and-so, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Listen, Elon, if you need a political arm, someone to run that for you, that can vet candidates and properly put your money to good use to good candidates, please call me. You can DM
my phone dinged and I was like,
yeah, mine too. It's Elon. It's Elon. Hello, Elon. Elon. How are you, Elon?
Oh my gosh, guys.
No, I don't want to be a part of your harem, but I will help you.
She said harem.
I will help you with candidates for sure.
Buckle up, guys. The second half of the show isn't going to get any easier as we pick up the topics of, domestic violence. And let's tie it into what's happening in the Middle East, why we call it domestic violence here. But when it happens, under an authority of like a faith community, we think it's culture. It's really, really weird. Plus, we'll touch on Shein. I know you guys like those $4 tops, but
that comes with a price tag.
Better be careful what's in that
your
package.
Ass may not be able to cash. I'm just saying.
All right, guys.
We'll be right back with more Out of Pocket. From the heart of Marietta, Georgia, comes a tribute to the spirit of liberty. Liberty Cigars, where history meets craftsmanship. Each cigar tells a story. The Founders Collection honors the visionaries who shaped a nation. The President's House Collection celebrates the leaders who steered it. And the Naval Series salutes the heroes who defended it. Handcrafted with precision, each blend mirrors the essence of its namesake. From the boldness of George Washington to the elegance of Thomas Jefferson. Indulge in a moment of reflection. Light a Liberty cigar and savor the legacy. Discover your story at libertycigars.com, because every great nation deserves a great cigar. Liberty Cigars, smoke the history. And don't forget to use promo code OPENMIC for 10% off your order.
Sometimes I feel like we should just keep that logo in that song just to upset some people.
Of course. But you know what? I was listening to a sermon yesterday.
Are you gonna correct me?
No, but it's listen, if you listened to Change Church at all yesterday, not yesterday, on Sunday, bro. I felt that. That was like back to forehead. I was like,
back to forehead.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Because he was talking about the Judas experience, right? Judas is not necessarily a person. It is an experience. Everyone experiences a Judas moment, someone that will betray you.
Or 4 or 5.
Well, I mean, sure.
Within a year.
I mean,
Not counting.
sure, right? But it's how
Do they
you
have real
react.
seasons?
But it's yes.
I'm saying
No, yes, that's what he
Yeah.
talked about. And he's like, well, it's how you react to the Judas season or situation that has you emulate how Christ reacted.
Yeah, not
And
that.
one of the ways is that is not good is when you participate in what's considered guile. Now, guile is like when you know the truth but don't speak it.
Mm.
It's almost like participating or lying by omission.
Oh, yes.
Even though guile is a little different, but it has omission in it
Mhm.
because you go along to get along.
Yeah.
The other way is
Didn't do that.
right. The other way is the church way, which is just turn the other cheek. We gonna pray about it. The third way, though, is to speak the truth in love, right? Pray about it, obviously, but call it out. You're supposed to call it out, but not in like a crazy way. And you don't react.
like-
So you don't want to react like doing like a reactionary, like tit for tat kind of thing, because that's not godly, right? But yeah, no, it was really good.
Well, and it's like Pastor Tom says too, with Foundation Church. He says, that it when they say you're not supposed to judge, that's the end all be all final judgment. That is Christ's. That is, he sits at the right hand of the Father and advocates for us. The judgment seat is his. But discernment is yours to be able to judge every day. How else are you going to, you're just going to be a leaf blowing in the wind, never actually judging anything? You obviously go, that's hot, that's cold, that's right, that's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And so you do judge every day. I like that feeling that how you respond is everything, because what I'm finding is that offense is something you have to really watch out for, because especially when you do something and you talk about things and you live with passion, you're passionate for your kids, you're passionate for your loved ones, you're passionate for your family, for your country, that an offense, which is largely what I think Trump derangement syndrome is, it's such an offense that is now, it's like a little seed that just took root and is choking out everything else that makes sense in some of these people. I've had to watch that. I've had to watch, don't take offense, just call it for what it is. Excuse people out of your life as God shows that. You talked about cutting the grass, grass roots, we're trimming the weeds so we could see the snakes.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But don't take offense to the point where it alters you.
And then right. Because you don't want it to jade you, because some people can go through these seasons and they come out of the season, praise God, but they don't take what the lesson was with them. They allow the situation to change them, to deform them. Yeah. And that is not what these lessons are for. It's not what our situations are for. So don't let a Judas, who is essentially what it was. So Judas, I don't know if y'all know this, but Judas was essentially Jesus's treasurer.
Yes.
So if Jesus was poor, why did he need a treasurer? I'm just asking. Anyway, that's a whole other topic. My point is,
arguably put him in charge of money because he had a love of money and wanted to show that.
But he was helping himself with the money and then sold Jesus out for money. And then the moment he took it, he was like, oh, because the love, it's like the love of the love of whatever that situation was, whether it's money, whether it's lust, whatever it is, the love of that took over the love he had for Jesus, or the love that he had, or the love that anybody has for the other person. And he ended up taking his own life before he allowed Jesus to give him a second chance.
Yes.
Right. And so it's great. It's when you think about it and it's broken down to you that way, you're like, oh, wow. How many times have I been in this situation? Have I been a Judas? What is, you know what I'm saying?
But this is what's amazing about God's word.
Yeah.
Is that it doesn't matter how much of a theologian you are. Every day there's something new in it that you're like, I've read that 10 times. I've heard that story 10 times. I've never thought of it that way. That's the amazing thing.
And you will see that in your life. Absolutely. You will see people betray you. And he wasn't on the outside. He wasn't on the outside of he was literally
one of the 12.
One of the 12 in your circle.
In your circle.
In your circle.
Wow. Thank you for that bat to the forehead, Alex.
Crazy.
This morning.
It's crazy. No, but I think that's what's happening in our country too. We're seeing a lot of that. We see that in our politics. We see that in the Senate, right? That's it. So we just need to make sure that we're Yeah.
Well, I want
Aware and not reactive.
Yes.
And doing tit for tat. And we actually just,
I want to make sure we get to I saw this. I can't talk today. I saw this story about Charlize Theron. And we know how we all feel about certain people in Hollywood, but I've never heard her story before, and this hits home because we've known people and we've been familiar with the domestic violence topic, and we've seen how that can change lives. And changed families, obviously. But I did not know this story about Charlize Theron. It's a little bit of a longer clip, but I want to play it. Let's go ahead and roll the clip.
I was 15 years old. And my mom would do this thing too. Like she would take me to the movies. When I was older, I realized she was trying to get me out of the house. But we had gone to see a movie, and my dad had taken the key to the front steel door. Every room in our house had a steel door. So she couldn't get into the first block, and we always knew where he was. His brother lived a couple of streets away, and if he wasn't home, he was always there drinking. And nothing out of the usual. I mean, we went over and they were pretty loaded, and I had to pee really badly. So I ran into the house to get to the toilet. And he took that as me being really rude because I didn't stop and say hello to everybody. Big thing in South Africa, like the kind of respect that you have to have for elders. And he was in a state where he just kind of like spiraled. Like, why didn't you stop? Like, who do you think you are? And this kind of thing started, and we left. But you could just tell, I just knew that was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back for him. I felt it. I felt like something was different. I sat down with my mom and I said, I think you're right. I think you should separate from him. I had never imagined that those words would come out of my mouth. I knew he was mad at me. So eventually, when he decided to come home, I said to her, please tell him I'm asleep. And so I went into my room, I turned my lights off to get to the point. He finally broke into the house. He shot through the steel doors to get into the house, making it very clear that he was going to kill us. And so by the time he broke into the first gate, my mom ran to the safe to get her gun. She came into my bedroom. And this is, again, one of those crazy things. The two of us were holding the door with our bodies because there wasn't a lock on it. And he just stepped back and started shooting through the door. And not one bullet hit us. It's insane when you think about it that way. And my mom followed my father, who was by then opening the safe to get more weapons out. And she shot him. Unfortunately, not an isolated story. You know, these things are prevalent in a lot of families' homes. And I feel like women really get a very, very unfair shake. I feel like in this country, nobody takes it seriously, the situation that they're in. And I don't think anybody took my mom seriously.
That is an incredible story, and the resolve that her and her mother have in order for her to be as amazing of an actress as she is. I mean, her politics, maybe not so much, but what she's been through, and the fact that she recognizes that there was something else in that room protecting them is just quite wild. So
it's pretty wild.
But survivor stories are always inspiring.
There were a couple of things when I listened to that. So obviously she's talking about her upbringing in South Africa, where she's from. One thing that I noticed was that her mom had the ability to go arm herself.
That part.
And
thank God for a good woman or a good person with a weapon.
I mean, really, like, I know
that would have been fatal for both of them.
It really would have. And now people could say, yeah, but the husband had a weapon, and maybe but I'm just saying,
wouldn't have been whether it was a weapon or his fist, it would have happened.
Yes, absolutely. And the second thing that struck me out of this, and maybe it's just because it hits home, is having a discussion with your old enough child who has seen enough to say, I think you should leave. And I think so many women and men, I don't want to pretend this is just women, because I know many men who unfortunately feel like they can't talk about it, but have been very much involved in abusive relationships where they're trying to be the bigger person, but literally it's still abuse. But you almost feel like people, third parties, can see things better than you, which is why isolation really always used to scare me as my kids were growing up. If anybody was trying to like isolate them in like a dating situation, I just see red flags, because nobody else really sees what happens behind closed doors or has your ear. And so those are just things that I think stuck out to me. I don't know about you watching this. It made her seem very just very human.
And restraining orders honestly are just paper. And it takes police officers in some cities and states up to 30 minutes to respond to something this. So a restraining order is just a piece of paper that if violated, you can go to court and get a stronger sentence. But when it comes to safety, it is important that people are personally able to defend themselves, however that whatever that looks like. And a firearm is the quickest way to stop an intruder or someone that's coming after you for your life. So
there are organizations nationwide. So if you are feeling, that you are in a situation that you need to get out of, reach out. I hate to say Google it, but literally it's different in every state and every country, or in every county.
I mean, if you're from Florida and you're struggling with something like this, please don't hesitate to DM and we'll pray for you.
And there's crisis hotlines that we could put you in touch with. So don't overstay. You're welcome. Yes, absolutely. But this does touch on also, when I hear stories like that, I think about how people are quick to forget when they're out there waving their Palestinian flags, and they're out there waving their Iranian anti-Iranian flags, that basically they don't want the change in regime over there in Iran. Never been to the country myself. So all I can do is listen to women who have been there and what they've seen and what they've endured, and then take their word for it. So we just said, we don't like domestic terrorism. We don't like domestic violence. Well, what if domestic violence and domestic terrorism was married in the country of Iran, and you were subjugated to it? It's a real thing. Take a listen to this next story.
You left Iran in 2009 when you were 32 years old. But you describe growing up in Iran with a brother who you got to see go out to the stadium to watch games, to ride a bicycle, playing with his friends, singing. And you were stuck wearing hijab from the age 7 on. Yeah. Describe what life is like for women in Iran.
Like a hell. I mean, seriously. Imagine you're just 7-year-old girl. Then you want to go to school. If you don't cover your hair, you won't be able to get an education. You won't be able to get a job. You won't be able to exist, to live. More than 60% of university in Iran being occupied by women. But where are these women? Women are not allowed to be judged. Women are not allowed to be ministers. And before the revolution, we had so many judges. We had so many female singers. We were able to go to stadium, to participate in any kind of sports. But the Islamic revolution became a revolution against women. And this is the reality. You're not a free woman. If you want to be a free woman in Iran, you have to break the law every day. Me and you both, if we sit like this in Iran,
we couldn't do this in Iran.
No, in the eyes of the government, we're like master criminals. Leg, hair, definitely we would get lashes, both of us. Just think about it.
I mean, Allie, that is, listen, the war on women, and it's here. It's here. When you can put a man in women face and then tell me that he's allowed to come into my bathroom and play against our daughters in sports, that's a war against women.
100%. 100%. And why do we consider it culture in Iran, but not call it out for what it is? Yeah. That's a form of abuse.
We could get all of those No Kings protesters to go over there and really protest an oligarch that's belittling and hurting women and children. I don't know if you've heard the latest reports. that they're also finding a lot of children that have been massacred in Iran. Allie, so I know we're creeping up on our last 5-6 minutes here. How many of you out there buy clothes on Amazon or Temu? Did I say that right?
Mm-hmm.
Or Shein? I mean, listen, anytime you buy something and it fits and you're like, oh, I almost spent $6 plus shipping on this. It's nice and it's addictive and it makes it hard to go to your local Macy's or Dillard's or Marshall's or whatever, because you're used to spending, you get cheap. Is what I'm saying. We get cheap. But I had no idea this was happening. So imagine you unzip those beautiful plastic bags that, Shein clothing come in, whatever, you take it out, you put it on, and then this happens. Take a look at this photo. Oh, wow. That doesn't look fun. That is Shein being sued there for selling clothing with highly toxic chemicals.
Yeah, I read that it's 3,000 plus times the allowable amount of toxins by the FDA and EPA.
So we're allowing them to.
That's it right there. Legal limit.
Yep.
3,269 times the legal limit allowable by the EPA.
Wow.
That is insane. That's insane. Why do you need that many chemicals in your clothing? I mean, this this is a non-kinetic war with China.
Sure.
I don't understand why we are not talking about this. They're trying to take over our farmland. They are trying to take over our markets through Smithfield, our pork industry, set market value for the entire United States because they don't want to comply with all 50 states of their own commerce law, right? They just want the federal government to essentially give them blanket immunity to set market value. How our representatives don't understand this, I don't know. Which I'm largely pissed off about because
we're still better.
No, seriously, I've spent 3 years talking about this stupid act.
You can't say you didn't know.
And it is. And it's interesting because I'm having these conversations with representatives, and they're like, "But there's so many other things that are good in the farm bill." I'm like, I understand that,
I do.
But at what point? So we're just going to hand them. We're just going to hand China. And then kick it down to the Senate, knowing we don't really have the Senate. How are we not? I don't understand. Why is
so
anyway.
China brought you fentanyl, a synthetic version.
No, first they brought us COVID.
Well, yeah, that I'm going back, but yes, COVID. They wouldn't sell us the PPE that our government said we needed to get through COVID. And this report is saying too that some products made for children were also caught having harmful substances and levels exceeding legal, at least 3 times the legal limit. So, we think about how much we don't want plastics and all that around our kids. Well, listen.
What's stopping them from dipping the clothing into fentanyl and sending it to you? And when you open the bag, you instantly die.
Okay. do you want to not sleep tonight?
Stop buying Chinese clothing.
We discussed something when we were in DC where somebody was actually one of the farmers was telling us, one of the ranchers was talking about, yes, these drones that have the capability of spreading fentanyl over entire communities. And he's like, and I guess I don't know if it was the government or if it was an organization or a company that said they lost a few of them or they were stolen. And I'm thinking, can you imagine getting that in the wrong hands? We're not going to live in fear.
Do you remember when there were this big drone thing that happened over New Jersey and everyone was like, oh, it's just a test.
And only Trump said where they came from. They were docked off the coast. And he said, why won't the government tell you? We know who did it. We know where they're from. They won't fly them over Florida because we'll shoot that shit down. But it doesn't do us any good if there's fentanyl attached to it.
So none of this is like just no.
So either we stop with our attachment of getting discounted clothing, or I don't know. My daughter gave me the suggestion. She's like, Mom, just throw it in the wash before. But if you've ever bought anything from Shein, you're worried it's going to come apart in the wash because that's why it's so.
But you can tell it comes with chemicals when you open the bag and you're like, what is that smell?
Or it's like powdery. The bag's powdery. I don't know what those bags are made out of. But I'm guessing they're not biodegradable. So why isn't the EPA all over them for their shipping practices?
Biodegradable. I don't even care about biodegradable, ma'am. I care about the 3,000 chemicals. What in the actual? 3,000 times?
I don't know if I can break up with my Shein. I want to know if you can. because there are some things that I'm like,
you gonna wish you did when that medical bill come due. I'm just saying.
wow, she keeps me honest. I love it. Oh my gosh, guys, that's all we have for you today on Out of Pocket Live. Well, we're just out of time. So
Yeah,
I guess
no,
make sure you lock it here 10 a.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. Like, share, and subscribe. And make sure you're also following at Real Ally Leger and at Michelle Posey on all social media platforms. Guys, are you or your local GOP having any events throughout the nation as we're rolling into the midterms? Allie and I are doing a few events for candidates as well as for conservative clubs. So if you're interested, make sure you reach out. You can go ahead and DM us here on Out of Pocket Live social media. Let us know if you'd like to bring us to one of your events. We are happy to bring our sass and attitude. I mean,
For
if you
sure.
want it.
All right, you guys, we love y'all. We'll see you bright and early tomorrow. Stay out of pocket. Keep that mic open.
Two queens, no filter, say what they feel. Allie and Michelle keep it way too real.